Well,
Today's
good.
show, well, we are excited for this one. It's always really fun when we just open it
Good.
up for a broad variety of questions. We never know which direction things are going to go, do we, Julia? It's always such a
Sure.
mystery.
Yeah. So it makes it like a game show. Is it going? Here.
Where are we going today? Where are we going?
Good. Like I was telling Kaya beforehand, this is something new it's been going on for a little while, but it's still a new thing to me to, feel you guys. I mean, I could always feel the energy and I would feel excitement. But like the last few weeks, I was feeling specific things, and it was like, and then it would come out. It's like it was stuff that was going on, and with different ones of you. So that's a whole new thing for me, and that's if any of you are like that. I mean, that's definitely the definition of empath. I mean,
Mm,
I mean, in bright neon colors, that's empath. But it's really important to realize that it's not yours. It's like you're picking up on somebody else's stuff for whatever reason, and it could be on just their energy is there, and like it comes in interesting for these shows because where it's like actually it was like just a fun there's a game show thing again. What's it about game shows today? But it's like it's kind of confirmation is what it's been, and so now I know, okay, that's not me, something's going on in what we're about to do. um, so that's a way to work with it. Somebody out there needs that information, because that can be a little unnerving, tricky, whatever. When you have these things happening to you, you're feeling odd, and it's like, but I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't understand why am I feeling sick to my stomach? Why this? Why that? Why am I having everything clenched up? Why, and it's because it's not yours. It's somebody else that you're picking up on, and there is relevance. It's not just anybody in the world. It's somebody that has some, what are they trying to say? It's some relation. It may not be blood related, but maybe you're going to run into them. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's somebody that has what's the word I'm like, has some capacity to you is what's coming in. So there's something there, and you're just picking up on it ahead of time, maybe to help prepare you. I don't know. But it definitely, puts you're understanding what they're feeling.
mm.
That's really all you're getting from it. You understand the feeling. Now, if that helps you be more compassionate, whatever. So, but that's really cool to understand that about yourself, is like, this isn't mine, this is someone else's. I wonder who. Make it a curiosity thing. I wonder what this is about, rather than, oh my gosh, this is, I'm picking up on thing, I'm whatever, it's doing these horrible things to me. It's not. You're just tapping into somebody else's energy
Mm.
for some reason, and find, see, there's that reframing. Find the positive in it. You're doing it for a reason. You're doing it for a very good reason. And then once you understand it, and once you understand who it belongs to, or once you start working with it, it'll go away because it's not yours, unless you want to make it yours. And you make it yours by getting worried about it, by fretting, by getting emotionally involved with it. See, if it's like, no, I'm fine. This is not mine. I'll understand it better sometime today, whatever, just put that out there. Man, that's, anyway. But I didn't feel that today. Today, I felt excitement.
Yay!
So,
So interesting. Today we've got a lot of excitement.
yeah, I knew
Okay.
that.
Okay, so question coming in. Ready, Julia? Anita Smith says, if we have a pre-plan to have disabilities, illnesses, etc. to experience in our life, then why do we do a body scan during the QHHT session?
Okay, disabilities can be pre-planned. All right, those are things that we plan for whatever reason, whatever experience. Illnesses, not necessarily so. Illnesses are messages, and they're indicators that you're off track. They're indicators that something is going on that you need to be paying attention to. It's as a message. So that's why you want to do a body scan, is to see if there's anything out of kilter, out of that maybe the person isn't even aware of. Usually they are aware of it. They have physical issues. But sometimes they're not. Sometimes it's something that's just starting, it's coming, but they've been getting messages in other ways and they're not listening. And so it's having to go to the body to get to the core of it, the core message. That they're saying is it's not even really that. It's that because they know that they're coming in for a session. See, the SC knows that. So it's like when you do that body scan, then they will indicate. If they're not aware of anything yet, they will indicate something there so that they can get their message. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it may not be visible to them yet, to the client. But anyway, that's the reason you want to do that, is to see if there's anything out of balance, out of kilter, because that's a message that they are delivering to themselves.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think now we have some new people that are always coming in and they're checking things out, and they may just kind of have stumbled upon here. It's maybe would be cool now to take a step back and take a look at just the concept of hypnosis. And hypnosis is this magical way of unlocking the connection that we have from our traditional, our typical, our day-to-day ego, and that mind, that conscious mind that's always thinking, always processing, that conscious mind that's meant to keep us alive and basically functioning in a way that is capable of digesting fears and dangers and keeping you out of harm's way. And it does a very, very good job of that. The problem is, in our day-to-day lives, in the year 2022, we don't have a saber-toothed tiger awaiting around the corner. We don't have these dangers that we've had many eons ago. Things have evolved. Yeah, at least I don't think so, Julia. Maybe there's a saber-toothed tiger
maybe
here. And you're frozen now in that expression, but that was funny. We have evolved to a place now in entering the 5D world that there are various tools that are available to us to make us have a smoother ascension into this new world. And the number one tool, probably first and foremost tool that we can use to get a much deeper insight into who we really are, is hypnosis. It's a fascinating way of allowing that conscious mind to relax, that ego to relax. And what happens when that ego or that conscious mind relaxes? Well, that bigger part of you, that super conscious part of you, the gate is now open to have all that information, access to all of that information, and having it flow in a way that is not as filtered, not as fear filtered out, and not walls put up to digest this information coming from the higher self. It's more of a free flowing waterfall of information. And it's beautiful how hypnosis is able to tap into that information that is coming from the higher self. And as part of that, we're able to experience past lives, lives as other beings, other forms of consciousness, other energies, lives in other universes, what it's like to be a rock, what it's like to be a star, what it's like to be a gladiator, what it's like to be a witch. All of this is possible when we pull the curtain back and we look at the true world of your existence, of your baseline existence, which is pure energy. And with hypnosis, we're able to look into that pure energy and be able to uncover and explore various parts of it. Now, it is important to work on this with people that have qualifications, with people that are professionals, with people that have actually taken the time to study and learn and go through courses. And that's why QHHT is really this magnificent, incredible discovery in the realm of consciousness that your mom pioneered and you've taken the baton and doing so much magic with. And it's just a rewarding, I find myself feeling very, very grateful on a day-to-day basis, being able to connect with people in the 5D world and use tools like hypnosis as something that brings us together as something that unites us as explorers in human consciousness. You know, if you're listening to this, you are an explorer of human consciousness. You're curious. You want to know more. You don't think we're just, this world is just exactly what we see and there's nothing behind it. You feel and you know that there's more, right? And you know that there's a path to exploring and there's various tools, and you're curious, and you've heard about this stuff called the law of attraction and following your passions and using QHHT and meditating and being able, it's all about being able to quiet that ego, that conscious mind. As Dolores would say, that Mr. Stupid.
Well, you know, the other cool thing about hypnosis, and probably one of the major misconceptions about it, is that it is completely natural. It's totally natural for the body to go into these states that we access with hypnosis. We go into them naturally every time we meditate, every time we go to sleep, you're moving in and out of them. You go in and out of them many, many times during the day, not even realizing it. We shift dimensions all the time. We do all these things. We shift trance levels. This is normal. And when you're trained, you're just learning how to do that with somebody. You're just taking them through this process, which is totally natural. There's nothing foreign about it. That's why it feels good. That's why it works. The way Mom created it, it's with the total naturalness. This is what the body naturally does.
How, Julia, what was the evolution of the technique of hypnosis that you witnessed in your life? What were sort of the beginnings of it, and what has it come to now? It's an interesting perspective to have that come from you, being in the unique life that you lived.
And yeah, absolutely. Because my father was the first hypnotist, and he learned old-fashioned with, the shiny object. Usually a lot of times it would be like, now we'd probably use a pendulum, but back then it was like a watch on a chain. It was something shiny that would swing, and you would just follow it, and your eyes would get heavy. You're getting heavier, you're getting sleepier, you're getting, and then they would do these tests and put your arm up like this, and I'm going to push on it. See, it's so hard, I can't push it down, and they'd do all these tests, to see where you were in your level of trance. And that, just trying to get you to that deep, deep level. And then it shifted from that and became more visualization. So by the time my mother was fully active in it, it was visualization. And no more watch the shiny object. It was just moving into these quiet places in your mind and watching scenes and things like that, and then just shifting gradually over into something. Well, Mom studied like what the body is naturally doing, and she's like, why don't we just work with that? And so she took this visualization and the knowledge that you have the body doing these things naturally, and it goes into this state naturally. This theta state accesses all memory, everything that's out there. So if we can, we all go through that state every time we go to sleep and every time we wake up. Every time we take a nap, every time, you're always going in and out of it. And so it's like, okay, she's like, how about we take them there and we hold them there at that level? That's right before you go into sleep. See, so you're held there. Normally, we don't hold. We go through it and we go to sleep. This technique just holds you there so that you can access all these memories. You can access all this information. It's very, very natural. It's actually very easy because it's part of what we do already. We're just not used to somebody talking to us. We just do it. We might have a TV on, and we might have something like that, so we might be used to that, some background noise, but many of us don't have any noise. We just go in and out of these states. So that could be the only thing that might seem a little different, is there's somebody talking. But we work with that. It's okay.
All right. So we have a good question from Simone right off the bat, a topic that we are all interested in. I'll give this one a shot first, if you don't mind. So Simone says, anything about the new Earth? And I love the topic of the new Earth. And the question that I would ask before we would dive into the context of the new earth as being a world that vibrates something to you, and to see, are we in the new earth yet? Is the new earth showing me something that is indicative of the new earth? That could be a little trap that we get into sometimes in examining the new earth. And instead, I would suggest that you look into yourself first and foremost and ask yourself, how am I processing the world that I'm seeing now? You see, from the outside, if you were looking at the first perspective of the outside in, it would be very easy for a typical being on earth to say, okay, the world I'm seeing now is full of chaos, tumult, war, financial collapse, travesty, inequality, and we could go on and on and on. A very 3D view, right? Because we are balancing between the two worlds. We're kind of straddling the two worlds. But I would instead ask you to check into the 5D world by first looking into yourself and ask yourself, how am I processing that which I'm seeing? Even in the negativity, am I able to create positive stories that are impacting the way that I view this world, that are impacting others in a positive way? When I hear of a news headline, am I allowing that headline to resonate with me in a way that lowers my vibration or raises my vibration? So you hear something about the war, and it's easy to say, oh, okay, people are dying. I feel sad. I feel bad. This can't be the new earth. Instead, you could be hearing this and thinking to yourself, wow, this is the change that is happening now. There's a lot going on in the world, but I'm going to filter my thoughts in such a way that I'm not processing that which I don't need to process. Some may need to process some things about the war if they're directly involved. The vast majority of us, it's best to focus on things where you can impact the world around you more directly, where you can put your energies into positivity, where you can do good and you can speak truth and you can come from a place of humility where you are encouraging others to show the best version of themselves to the world, to show their inner sense of heart energy and compassion and kindness and optimism. And that's an important thing now, and we're really getting to it. You can check in to your 5D world by feeling and seeing, where is my sense of optimism? Where is my sense of hope? Because hope is your energizer. Hope, that belief that something is possible, it institutes and gets this energy moving in a ethereal, subconscious way that starts aligning the universe in your direction. You think of anything grand or something you want to do with your life, the first thing and the best thing to think is, first and foremost, it's possible. It's possible. If I can think it, it's possible. And when you think it's possible, that's the first step to starting momentum. You get that momentum, it's possible and I can do this. It's possible and I can do this first baby step. Everything is possible, and it's possible is the foundation to building the 5D world around you. So there's a little bit of testing into seeing where you are in the 5D world and how you're viewing the things around you. And when you start really molding them and building them and putting them in their place with your own positive philosophy of why they are in their place and what they can be, then you're really starting to step more into that 5D world. Because the reality of things is the 5D world is existing right now in this incredibly beautiful angelic form where everything is super, super beautiful and perfect and people love you. And they love you, you love them, and it's an expression of love and this bonding. But there's also worlds that are much, 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 much level below it. There are different levels that are below that, to where there's more 3D and conflict and all the things that are associated with that and everything in between. And you're shifting moment to moment to moment to moment based on your belief systems into these worlds. So it's a function of you stepping into your 5D world with how you choose to structure your thoughts. And it's an ongoing theme that we'll talk about in these discussions again and again and again in different ways, because it's such a foundation. We truly want all of you we want all of us together to ascend into this 5D place to where we're experiencing the 5D feeling in our life, that blissful feeling, more often than not. Now, I'm not saying that's not going to be somewhat challenging at times when things are flowing through, but at the end of the day, you're the one that controls your energy, you're the one that controls your emotions, you're the one that sets all this sort of stuff up. It's all up to you.
It's all up to you. It's all up to you. And like I said, I was told quite a while back that the new earth was here. And I'm talking like 11 years ago. Okay? The new earth is here, because that was when Mom was going around and just starting to talk about everything. When's it coming? What's it going to look like? What? And seeing we're still doing that. They told me then, it's already here. You will see it when you believe it. And I know I've said that so many times before, but that's exactly what you're saying. See, it's when you believe. And like you said, Kai, it's the beliefs and it's the emotions. Where your emotions go is where you're going to be. And your emotions will follow your beliefs as well. So it's like wherever you emotionally tie things, that will pull you. So if you get emotionally involved, where it's like you're so invested emotionally in some of these things that are happening or appear, well, I don't want to say it that way. Let's say just happening. Then that pulls you into that energy, that pulls you into that level of vibration. It's not saying you can't care. It's not saying don't, but like you said, Kai, it's like what does it do for me right now? I mean, I can be aware of it. I can, I can help if I can, if you're able to, but if you're not able to, then check in with you and how you are emotionally viewing things, how you're emotionally reacting, because that is where you will be vibrationally. And if you will stay with that, like that framing and everything, and stay with I will see it when I believe it. See, it's the believing and the ideas and the emotions, then you will be there. I guarantee you, let's see, what's the number? 85% of our audience is already moving in and out and aware of it into the new earth. They have seen it. They have, but they question. They're not sure. Is that really what it is? Is this possible? Yes. And that's what they're saying. 85% of you have already seen it to some degree. But the part I love is you are aware of it. Because we're always doing it. We may not be aware of it. But that's huge, guys. Woohoo! I love it. You guys are really doing it. But it's where you place your thoughts, where you place your emotions, where you place your beliefs.
Beautiful.
And I love It's Possible. I have a theme song called It's Possible. So if you will go into anything, if you can think it up, then it can be a reality. And that goes any way you want it. So if you can think up something negative, that can be your reality. Say you want the opposite to be true, then think it up. If you can think it, it can be. It must be. It is one of your possible futures. It must be.
Yay. So we have take another question. Hope Turner says, I was told years ago that I'll be adopting a little girl, and had it confirmed by a second psychic that it'll just be via a knock on the door. I've moved houses, decorated her room, and filled it with everything she could possibly need. I was just wondering if you could tune in and see when she'll be here, please.
What did you get? Okay, what's her name?
Hope.
I love your name. Hey, just get into your name. Your name says it all. What do you think, Hope? Tap in. What do you think? Remember, you're the one that's creating. And if this is something that you have set up, and the fact that you even have it in your mindset, that you've even thought it, even though it may have been initiated by someone else, you're investing in it. So that makes it, that's part of your future. That is part of what's coming to you. Now, it's the belief factor. Remember, we were just talking about belief. You're still questioning it. So as long as you're questioning it, then it's shaky. it's not confirmed. If you full out believe it and you want it, it can be. I see it's definitely possible. It's all up to you. And I love your name. You have the most perfect name in the world for this.
What I would suggest, Hope, is, you've said that you were told that you'll be adopting a little girl, and then you had it confirmed by a second psychic. What I would suggest is realize, first and foremost, that these are outside sources that are more or less predicting or tapping into your energy and telling you what a future possibility may be. And your question to us is along the same lines of predicting or validating what a potential possibility may be. And of course, we just said, this is interesting how this flows, that anything is possible, right? The next step that I feel for you to take would be to dive deeper into yourself. And this goes right along with exactly where we are in the conversation today. What have we talked about? Well, it's life being possible and aligning and opening your sense of possibility. But also we talked quite a bit about hypnosis in the very beginning of this discussion and the power that it has to unlock and get past the conscious mind. And you're at a point right now where your conscious mind is looking for answers in a sort of conscious mind way of asking others for this sort of validation, even though they are tapping into a metaphysical feeling of it. But what I'm suggesting to you is you tap into yourself and look into getting a hypnosis session with a QHHT, a skilled QHHT practitioner. Do your research, get in there and explore and dive. And the possibility within that session is to really see what this relationship could be or how it's meant to play out, because your super conscious mind has a grand plan for you in life. Whether it's down the exact path you think or it's down a totally different path, you have the possibility within a session, a QHHT session, to connect in such a deep and powerful way that you'll get more information resonating to you that has so much power and validity because it's coming straight from you. I love psychics. I've gone to many psychics. I think it's a beautiful profession. But at the same time, for me personally, when I tap into the power of the subconscious through a QHHT session or through channeling or for experiencing something of my higher self coming directly through me and coming from my own lips, speaking about my reality from my own energy projected, there's some type of feeling behind it that just feels so real and right and connected, and I don't need any further validation. And the point of seeking the validation stops because there's a belief and a congruency and an alignment that comes. So if you have questions, hop in the chat. You could ask around for practitioners. You could get on the QHHT website. You could see who's around in your area. It's up to you to select someone that feels right and compatible with your heart energy. And if you explore on that level, I think you may have a breakthrough in how you're processing some of your desires, your grand desires in life.
Beautifully said.
Okay, Julia. Here we go. Alyssa says, Julia, I had some healing working done yesterday, and they brought up your book. I have a body rash and a chronic dry. I have a body rash and chronic dry cracked hands. Can I get some more insight, please?
Okay. Well, it's interesting you said, okay, so you had some work done yesterday. Was this not addressed yesterday? Or did it come up after that? I'm just curious, and if they brought up my book, then I'm just curious. Oh, okay, I kind of have getting a mental image of what happened now. Okay. They just brought it up as a resource for you. Okay. Where is the rash? You pointed to your shoulder, Kaya. Is that what they said, or?
No, that's just me reacting.
Yeah. Okay. Because the rash, where things are is very important because that's part of the message. The body parts are signifying, what the body part does is telling you what the message is. That's why it's very literal. the way we talk to ourselves through our bodies. And we use these parts because they're easy to remember. I guess would be, it's just easy use. It's very, very literal. So it's very important to know what body part it is. A rash, I need more about it. How does it feel? What kind of a rash is it? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Anything else specific about it? Because that's all very important. Those are all messages. The dry, cracked hands, can we get more description on that? So we'll let that go, let you come back to us, and then I can give you more. I can't just go like that. These are your messages, so we've got to figure out from you what you're trying to tell yourself.
That's great. And if you guys are just saying this right now at a point of this, if you're curious and you want to explore more into soul speak, and notice how there's a process for all of this, and notice how Julia needs more information, and the way that you understand soul speak and these direct correlations between the body is by really understanding the technique. Mm-hmm. Because you may have a tendency as a practitioner, maybe you want to jump in these discussions that you have before, and you start to maybe diagnose things, and that's kind of a tunnel that you could go into. But it's best to combine soul speak with QHHT and understand you do the work in soul speak with the subconscious, with the superconscious, and QHHT with superconscious, and soul speak, you can deal directly in these conversations in the very much conscious mind back and forth and tie the two in together. So my point with all this is, for those of you that don't know about soul speak, you might be coming on here. Julia has a soul speak course.
Right, exactly where I teach that, and you can actually be a practitioner of that as well as it can complement your QHHT practice, because they marry beautifully, and then they help each other. But you can access that course through juliacannon.com, and you'll get lots of information about it. But anyway, I'm excited to see what she comes back with. But we can take another question, because sometimes there's a delay or it takes a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Simi says, after reading Dolores' book, it seems like the universe in the afterlife is very bureaucratic. There are committees and contracts and things you have to accomplish. Why is it like that?
You must be talking about Between Death and Life, I'm guessing, because that's the only one that really talks about the afterlife so much. And why is that? Well, one, you have to look at, there's structure, but you also have to look at when this book was written, when the information was accessed, the belief systems of the person, and Mom herself admitted later, because people would ask her about some of the material in the books, and she said, you need to read them. If you want to do that, you can read them in the order that they were written, and then you'll see her evolution. And what she's talking about is her evolution in her belief system, because as her belief system shifted, then that material, it became less bureaucratic, less that way. See, that was her way of being, and probably the civilization at that time. Really, it was very so I believe there probably are things there, and you have to always look at the people that. Now, I know she worked with a lot of different people and made it look like one person in Between Death and Life, but you have to look at the time period it was in. Now, we're still getting very similar information, but I think it's a little broadened. It's a little more abstract than what she got then, because look at where we were. So you have to look at those things. That's why beliefs are so important. Beliefs structure your world. So take that into consideration. This would be a great question for you to ask. These are the kinds of things to ask in QHHT sessions. If you've got a curiosity about that, and it's like, why is it this way? Get your truth. Find out for yourself what it actually is like. That they'll show you. They'll show you the whole spirit side, whatever it is you want to know. You can see it.
Yeah, and I would just say,
for each person sees something different. It's like Mom said, what they were saying is you get what you expect to see. So that can be a lot of this as well. They're expecting to see this strict. That's what I mean by the civilization then. What was the belief system? What was the lifestyle? What were these things? That could have been what was expected to be seen. Anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kaya.
Oh, no, wonderful. You're completely tapping into the overall concept that I just wanted to elaborate a little further on. Understand that as we try and define a world that is totally non-physical and instantaneous and non-judgmental and basically a pure loving energy that is the root, we have to translate this topic that is very esoteric into words. And the drilling down of these words through different filters come down to best resonate with us in terms of symbolism that we can understand, and sort of symbolism of committees and contracts and bureaucracies. Okay, these are very human 3D things, and we sort of get them. So, we imagine that, a committee. Oh, okay, we'd be sitting at tables, and this point, and your guides are talking, available for this. Well, I don't know, maybe I have this, If you imagine this in a deep meditative state or in the middle of a dream, when you wake up in the middle of the night, you'll see that this is very fluid. It's not as solid. It's not really like the concept that your conscious mind has in it. It's a much more loving, glowing, flowing type of energy. It's not one where you're feeling the brunt of a committee and a contract and the pressures associated with it. You're not feeling that in that place. You're more just coming to an understanding of your energy. So the afterlife is about going to a place of non-judgment to where you can make amazing decisions on where to go next and what to do and how you're going to construct your next life full of challenges. It's not technically a bureaucracy or a thing where you're signing contracts. It's more energies flowing with beings and spirits and ideas, and it's a very magical experience. We just kind of drill it down in this because humans get it, and it's getting the point across to us as to what is behind the purpose of the afterlife and how it really works. But it's a much more magical, grand thing. Like, imagine for a moment, okay, you're in the afterlife and suddenly you get to see ultimate reality. You say, my intention now is to experience ultimate reality. And ultimate reality would literally just blow your mind, because you'd see every version of you in every place and every time. And now our mind is so tunneled that we're one thing at a time, and maybe we're able to put ourselves into a state where we're able to feel maybe a couple different realities, but imagine seeing a billion realities at once, right? And you can't even, it's hard to fathom that right now, but that is very natural when you're in the afterlife, to see a billion realities if you wish to see. If you really wish to see the mysteries of the universe, if you really wish to uncover the true nature of a relationship in your past life, of what it really meant to you, you get to see, you get to explore, you get to see, you get to feel everything and anything, and that truly is a gift. It's a heaven-like gift. We just have to sort of let go of some little bit of lingering ego that may be floating in, that you're processing, that still gives us a little 3D reverberation, but it sort of burns off. And then you get in to see what ultimate reality is, if you so choose. It's still a choice of what you're focusing on as this being. You never lose, ever, your choice of what you wish to focus on. You just are able to expand and focus on a lot more at once, and you don't have sort of training wheels on you to stop you because it's too scary or too much to process or you can't handle it. You're able to take into your consciousness anything and everything, regardless of the volume, when you're in the afterlife. So it's a magical place. It's a beautiful place. It's not a very harsh place of committees and judgments and all sorts of things like that. It can be interpreted like that, but it's not quite like that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. It's a matter of what, we have to define things by what we know, so it's coming through that way. And many times when you're in that part where you've got the higher self or the SC coming through, the SC is looking for words. It's trying to, so it's scanning you, trying to find words that So see, it's coming from this to this and trying to describe things or trying to relay things. So it's going to find what you already have in your knowledge base, what you already have in your vocabulary to do it. So it's going to take it from this to this very limited perspective. I like one of our practitioners, Suzanne. She had in one of her experiences where she saw in between lives where they were all in a huddle and they were like talking this and she was outside. Then they brought her into the huddle to like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what's going to happen. So see, it's just different. It's whatever works for you. It's whatever. Yeah, they're like, yeah, don't. See, there again, that's, boy, they're like, don't worry about that stuff. That's not a place to put your attention. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Okay.
We heard back
from Eileen. Eileen says, I was curious about numerology. Does your life path number in astrology tell anything about your past lives and where you are strong in this life?
I have a limited knowledge of numerology. I know that they have it goes much farther than I've ever looked into it. But I have looked at the path number and the urge number, I think they call it. They have like 4 different numbers, and those, as I understand, are all parts of this life and what you're doing here, because we chose our names, our birth dates. We chose all these things coming in for that reason, because those numbers would be energy, toward that. Now, I know one of them, and I don't remember the name of it, one of them talks about your strengths and your weaknesses, and that's what these numbers show. And many times those are coming from, they might be things that are trailing over from other lives, and and that's why you want to work on them now, is because, so it's no different than we have them in our lives. It's like, okay, this is a pattern or this is a whatever that I want to work on. So it could be just showing you in that way. But no, numbers are not accidental at all. They are very strategically planned out. Everything down to your address and your social security number or whatever identifier number you may have. I mean, look at the numbers. It's amazing. I was amazed when I started adding up the numbers in all these different areas. It kept coming down to one main number. Oh, wow. That's beyond statistically probable. Really. So it's not accidental.
And I'd like to add one caveat in something that I think is useful to look at. And when you're approaching various modalities and various sorts of spirituality that you're attracted to, that you find a degree of passion behind, it might be numerology, or it may be tarot cards, and you're like, wow, this is very interesting to me. And you go and you examine something further into it, and there's certain parts of it that you feel, I don't know about that part. And then there's certain parts of it you feel, oh my gosh, wait, there's numerology and these numbers that I'm seeing at this particular time. This is really interesting, and I'm noticing a pattern here. And there's something about me that gives me kind of like a goosebumpy feeling, like there's something that's resonating within me. Well, in life, sometimes they say it's not good to cherry pick stuff, that you need to take the bad with the good and look at everything and put equal weight on. I would say in this instance, when it comes to selecting these messages that come to you, I would say cherry pick. For certain, cherry pick that which makes you feel good, focus on it, put energy into it, absorb it, make a connection with it, think about it, and allow yourself to cycle in that energy. Might be 11111 at this particular time on this particular date, and there's something great happening in this day that I'm getting this coincidence. Maybe I should go out now and I should really give it my all today because I feel in alignment with these numbers. Okay, you're creating a more positive reality based on that experience of working with that sort of numerology. It's all what you make of it. It's all what you choose to dive into it. So while I'm not the expert in any of these things, I'm more of a generalist in what's good for your soul and what's good for your heart energy, and to double down on it. So whatever you're feeling in the sense of numerology, and if it feels right to you, dive into those parts, explore them, examine them, feel them, talk about them, allow them to be a part of you. And if you feel your vibration rising, feel that there's even another set, another whole level that you can go up by exploring these, and keep exploring that which is passionate to you. Keep exploring the good news in there. There's self-fulfilling prophecies that happen. You go to a psychic, you hear that something good's going to happen to you within the next year, and maybe that's just in the back of your mind. You start looking for something good to be happening because it's about time that something good happens to you. And it's just a little bit of an extra push for you to examine your life and to grab on to the positive coincidences and the synchronicities that are part of your destiny that you deserve. It is your divine right to have a sort of synchronicity, a flow of life, a flow of energy that is good for you, that is keeping you moving forward in this world and transitioning into the 5D world. That's what I have to say about these types of modalities.
Yeah.
All right, another question. Julia, can your physical location be misaligned with our energy, and that's why so much picking up on others' feelings?
You know, that's a twofold. You can, you can have them, be not in a place that's really agreeable to you. But as far as picking up on others' feelings, no, that's just you getting more sensitive. That's you tapping in. That's just you. That's what you're able to do. I don't know. Maybe some areas do energetically help you accentuate that. But I would think if you're in a place that's not in alignment with you, you would not be opening your gifts. You would not be tapping into those things. It would be more chaotic. It would be more that kind of energy. It's like it's not in alignment with you. Picking up on others, I mean, that you're just being sensitive. You're just able to sense what's coming in. And then I just want you to understand what it is. That's all. It's nothing good, bad, anything. It's just what it is. And, here's what to do with it. But where you live, definitely you want to live. We're going back to what Kaya's been saying all along. What makes you feel good? If a place feels good. Let that internal Geiger, I call it the internal Geiger counter. It's that area right, we call it the gut, a gut feeling, whatever. It's right there in between your navel and your solar plexus. It's that whole area right there. It's like this Geiger counter that, it just, when it feels right and when it's off. So trust that. If you're not in the right place at the right time, you know these things. Trust it. Trust yourself. And I know I'm switching the answer to the question there, but that's coming through very important. And then they're also saying you can take a place that maybe isn't in alignment and you can make it in alignment. So see, it's all up to you again as to what you want to do. So if you believe it's not good for you, then it's not going to be good for you. And I know sometimes I pick this up on you guys. Sometimes it's like, well, that's a cop-out answer. Or I don't know that it's you guys saying this, but sometimes I sense that in audiences. They're like, that's such a broad, vague answer. That's like a cop-out answer. But it comes back to it's totally not, because it's totally up to each and every one of us as to what we create for our reality. So anytime you pose a question, it's like, can it be this? It's going to come back as, well, it depends on what it is you want. What do you want and what are you creating? So see, that's always going to be the main driver. And something is the way it is because of what you think, what you believe, what you say. You're always creating your environment, your reality. So you always have to be looking inside. You always have to be paying attention to what are my thoughts, what are my beliefs around this, what am I saying to myself and to others. All of those things matter. Those things are very, very important. There was something else there that came in, but it left just as quickly, so maybe it'll come back. But it's all about, maybe it's the importance of that is where we are. We have to understand our part in this whole creation business. We want to believe that we're just a pawn and it's all just blah, 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 happening to us. We are the one happening, and it's happening because of us. Oh, that one was a big one. Ooh, it happens because of us. So understand your part in your reality.
Great.
Very
Awesome.
important.
Next question. Susan says, I so appreciate your explanation of hypnosis, as it has floated around my awareness for years. How is it different from meditation?
Yeah, meditation keeps you in a lighter state. Hypnosis, especially QHHT hypnosis. Now, there are some hypnosis techniques that just keep you in that light state, so which we call it's alpha. And that's where meditation goes. You just stay in that light state. Your conscious mind can still be very much involved. It's in, they're talking, we call it the monkey on the shoulder, or the whatever, I call it the Jabberwocky. Blah, blah, blah. What are you doing this for? Blah, blah. And you definitely go through that. But the theta level is accessed in deep hypnosis. And so that's really the difference. It's what level of trance are you going to? And because in hypnosis you have someone guiding you, and they're able to hold you there, that makes it different than, especially meditation that you do on your own, or even hypnosis that you do for yourself on your own. You can only attain a light level there. You're going to go light, and then you probably go to sleep. If you do start going deeper, see, there's nobody to hold you. Theta level is what we go through to go to sleep. We don't stay there. We go through it naturally. You have to have someone with you talking to you to hold you there, if that makes sense. Talking to you and having you talk. So you don't normally talk in meditation. You're just very quiet, and that's why if it's left without anybody getting answers from you, you will go into a sleep state.
Yep. Yeah, great. Next question. Heather says, this is a question asked a lot. This is a very, very, very common question. Heather says, any suggestions on how to prepare for a QHHT session?
Yeah, and you have some really good, actually, you just want to know that there really is no special preparation, okay? So I just want to put that out there. You don't have to do all these special things and stuff like that. I know Kaya did some things to prepare for his session, but you have to understand, he does these things normally. These are part of his normal routine. So that made sense. It's not, and I'll let Kaya talk about that in a minute if he wants to, but normally it's just the best thing you can do to prepare for a session is be open-minded and have no expectations. And then just see where it goes, just see what happens. If you feel like, you can do things to help you relax, whatever, like meditation or something, but you're not going to have a problem with that. If the session is done correctly, you will not have a problem with being relaxed. So I just say, be open-minded and have no expectations. Have fun.
Yeah, as I was preparing for mine, like Julie was saying, meditation and yoga, it's part of my lifestyle. I really honor doing these things, and they're really part of who I am. So what I did before my session is, my intention was to look at myself and saying, all right, how in my life do I become relaxed? What allows me to relax in the most natural and deepest way, so that I go into this session, and because relaxation is an important part of it, I want to do my part so that I'm going into this thing not stressed out, because there's certainly things in my life that I can do that are the opposite of relaxation. So I'd ask that question to you is, in your life, what pushes you into the opposite of relaxation? And I would limit those things. So what those things could be is having triple the amount of coffee you normally have, right? That may keep you wired up, unconscious mind thinking. You wouldn't want to do that. So I decreased the amount of coffee that I have, or tea or whatever, by a little bit. I still had it, but I just decreased the amount a little bit. So quieting that part of the mind a little bit. For me, being relaxed, the opposite of that would be to take a business call a few minutes right before I'm going into something where I need to relax, right? That would be the opposite. Okay? Don't take any calls an hour before or an hour and a half before you go into a session, right? A call could be coming in, it could bother you, it could be something coming in that's just going to spark something, and then your mind can be sticky, right? It can hold on to things. So You can have something in the back of your mind and you're going into a session, you just got the news right before you go in, and part of your conscious mind wants to solve that problem, and it's like, should I relax or should I focus on this problem? Relax, focus on the problem. So you're creating this little fight there, right? This fight. Nourish yourself properly to the point where you're not starving or you're not so full that you're ready to collapse, right? There's like the way we put food into our bodies can certainly do that. What can upset us? Like listening to music that's annoying and obnoxious, right? What's the opposite of that? Listening to something that's soothing before you go in, something that is relaxing, something that makes you feel good. So you can play that game with yourself of what relaxes me and what's the opposite of relaxes me. And they play off one another, and it allows you to personalize and prepare for your session in a way that's best for you, because there's no pill you take, there's no universal thing as do this and the session is going to be the best for you. It's just based upon your unique individualism. And Julia, of course, mentioned something very, very important, and it's probably one of the most challenging things to do, is we all tend to have expectations. Mm-hmm. We all tend to say, I'm going into this QHHT session for a reason. I want to solve this problem. And part of you has an instinct as to how this problem might be solved, right? And you may not be saying this, but that's just how the conscious mind works, is it probably wants to hear something in a certain way. You want to hear something about your relationship. You want to hear something about your job in a certain way. You want to hear this sort of stuff. You think you had a past life as Cleopatra, and that would be really cool, and you want that validation, right? Okay, not to make any of those desires wrong. Desires are right, desires are great, desires are wonderful, but for the purposes of a QHHT session, it's best to get yourself back to this place of neutrality and where there's as little going on in your mind as you can. I'm not saying you're going to shut your mind off, but don't put stuff into your mind. The more you can kind of clear out your mind and keep it open, the more magical your experience can get by orders of magnitude, and you can learn more about yourself. There's always all kinds of people. There was someone in the chat today that said, I can't be hypnotized. What can I do here? Well, that's not an accurate statement. Right. You can't be hypnotized is not accurate, because hypnosis is simply, the definition of it is going into an alternate brainwave frequency other than beta. We hop into alpha all the time, all day long. We go into theta, the same modality, the same brainwave frequency as QHHT, every single day of our lives. So you do go into these altered brainwave frequencies, right? So you can be. It's just a function of doing the things for yourself and getting yourself in the right zone. And then, of course, working with someone that's very skilled and very good with the actual modality, with the actual technique of QHHT. It makes a really big difference. As we have these levels for a reason. We have 1 as the entry level, we have 2 as the intermediate level, and we have 3 as the advanced level. And we have them for a reason, and you should select them based upon those qualifications. For a reason, you're gonna find that out. But that's for you to explore. That's for you to see what your heart desires. You can go in any direction you want. You follow your heart with these things.
Absolutely.
And on that note,
are we done?
Yeah, what do we say for the people that we talked about QHHT? Well, maybe you want to learn more about this. How can you do it, Julia?
Well, you can go to QHHTofficial.com. We also, if you're familiar with DoloresCannon.com, there's links there that go over to the site as well. And we have our level 1 online course. That's where you start, and that's where you get all the information and everything you need to know to do Mom's technique, Dolores Cannon, the QHHT technique, to be able to take people, you're not even taking them, you're just allowing them to go wherever they, is right for them to see, whatever is right for them to explore. So you're just kind of helping them hold that space to see the wonderful parts of themselves. Anyway, we have a coupon code. We can read it. Lots of love, all one word, lots of love, and that will get you 10% off of the level 1 course. And then, like I said, like Kaya was saying, then, if you want to progress onward, from there, you can make a career out of this if you want to. It's, it's a beautiful way to help people. So if that's maybe something that you want to do, and all we ask is that you have a passion. That's I call it the passion factor. You want to help people. That's the only requirement. for doing QHHT.
Yes.
Because that leads out ahead of everything. Anyway, very cool. I really look forward to hearing back from the person with the rash and the cracked, dry hands.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, love you all. See you next week.
See you next week, everyone.